I think people do more and more these days, want to share what they've done. Talking about how they got there, what's meaningful to them, and then the world is seeing them as a person, as an individual, and even saying, wow, you know, that's who they are and look what they're doing. Rachel Ta really inspired me. She and Daniel had put this together along with you, Robert, and she called me. I said, it sounds like a fantastic idea. Her idea, and I think it's right, is that we've had a very privileged career in the executive recruiting world, and it's time to give back to some of those people who have trusted us. And we've heard their messages as leaders time and time again, and thought that wouldn't it be wonderful if these leaders could share their experiences, and not just their professional experiences, but also what bumps in the road they've had that others could learn from. I think there could be a number of examples, whether you're on a board, you might be a diverse woman on a board that hasn't really been accepted, that thought that it would be easy to fit in, and you're dealing with cultural issues, and maybe that's a story that individual could tell to the world. And we're in the retail, consumer-facing brands and luxury space. And so the leaders that we want to be involved are in that space and successful in that space, and want to tell a story, want to share. It's not about their specific company. Nobody's pitching their companies. It's kind of like a master class in the industry. The audience will be anybody really in the industry that can learn from some of these particular experiences. This is our first launch in Paris. We're doing the next launch in Hong Kong, all this year, and then in New York. And we'll evolve, but our vision is that people could kind of pick and choose their learnings. CEOs, it may be an HR career that led to the CEO office. How did that happen? And that's happening a little more and more these days. HR getting into board roles is happening a little bit more. When people go to get on boards, there are questions of how do we do that? How do I go about developing my profile? But again, trying to get back to who people are individually. What made them who they are today, and what could they share to people? And again, any people. They can be peers, the next generation coming up. Anybody can learn from somebody else. We all have a journey, and many people, takes a village, shape us. And I think I'm first very grateful for my upbringing because it was tumultuous, and it kind of helped me in a bit of a tumultuous world. And my mother had passed away when I was 12, and there were 6 children left with my father, the youngest being 8 months old. And he decided the best way to raise the children is to get remarried to a woman, and she happened to have 8 children, and then they had another child between them. So we went from being a lovely little family of 6, shopping in the better department stores, to being a big gang shopping in Walmart. It was quite a cultural experience to go from one world into the next world, to be seen and then not to be seen, to be financially secure and then not be financially secure. So I had a lot of learnings throughout that motivated me to say, I'm going to be financially secure. I went on to finally get a degree, I wound up having a mentor who took me under his wing professionally and said, if you want to get anywhere in this world, guess what? You need a degree. Oh, nobody told me that before. So I was 23 when I first, or 22 when I first started going to college, and it took me 7 years to get my degree. But this was a man of his word, and he promoted me, and I was a director. And before I got my degree, and I kept going to school, and then finally he made me vice president, and I had MBAs reporting to me, and I didn't even have my degree. And my boss at the time said, Ann, I thought you knew a lot more about this than you do. I said, oh well, I'll learn. And it was a wonderful experience. And I think that take your learnings and be brave, be courageous, and take a leap. I think there are inspirational people all over. And I love to be inspired by other people who have unique stories. I was inspired by a chief executive who once told me, a big lesson that I learned was that I can't lose in life. There's a recipe. I either win or I learn. When you make mistakes, when you get to a disastrous moment in personal or professional life, what light can you find in it? You have to honor yourself. You have to believe in yourself and give yourself some self-talk to really keep it up. What's my idea of success? I think that success has to be both personally and professionally driven. It can't just be professionally measured. I think you have to drive to be happy professionally, and so you have to make that happiness happen personally as well. Helping others, being a good friend, I think helps again with happiness and success. Being adventurous, risk-taking. All of that helps toward adding to the fabric of life, I think.